global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Peter Obi is one person who have been taking a lot of things. His endurance to a lot of things hauled against him has been almost 100%. But this one, he have decided that he can't take it anymore. He has aired out his view and opened up on the many things the government of the day is doing against himself and his family. But this time is one taking too far, and Nigerians have decided to react to it. Let's dive into the newspaper to find out the dimension of the mayhem caused against his person, or better still, against his family circle. Now, according to the news, Peter Obi has lamented about the state of lawlessness and abuse of human rights in Nigeria as he narrates how his brother's company property was demolished. The politician who contested in the 2023 presidential election under the umbrella of the Labour Party LP claimed that he had suffered human rights abuse simply because he contested the presidential election. He went on to narrate how his brother's company's building in Ikeja, Lagos State, was demolished as at June 24th, 2025, without a demolition order. He wrote, and I quote, "Any society where lawlessness overrides the rule of law is not destined to be heaven for investors. Recent reports showing that Nigerians' human rights indicators have worsened merely highlight several shortfalls in government protection for civil liberties, personal security, and basic living standards. I know what I have been going through as a person in abuse of my human rights just because I contested presidential election, which I have legitimate right to do so. So I imagine what small business owners, regular citizens, and vulnerable communities face every day. If this level of lawlessness can happen to someone with a registered company and legitimate means, what hope does the ordinary Nigerian have?" This morning, or some few hours ago, my youngest brother called me frantically, informing me that a group of people had invaded his company property in Ikeja, Lagos State, and were demolishing the building. He had just come in from Port Harcourt and was denied entry to the property by security men who told him the building was being pulled down. They even informed him that this demolition had started over the weekend. As a peace-loving Nigerian, he quickly started processing to go to court immediately, not knowing what must have resulted in this, as they moved fast to destroy his home without any restraint. I rushed to Lagos from Abuja after the call this morning and headed straight to the property. On arrival, I was met by security people who tried to bar me from entering the property. I humbly pleaded with them that the property belonged to my brother's company, and from the records, the company had owned that property for over a decade now. They told me they had a court judgment, and I immediately requested for it. You would not believe that the court judgment they claimed was issued against an unknown person and squatters. I went further to ask about a demolition order or permit, and there was none. How do you sue an unknown person? How does a court issue a judgment in such a farce of a case? No one was served, no name was written. Yet they showed up with excavators and began destroying a structure that has stood for over 15 years. I immediately asked the excavators for the person who sent them, and they said they did not know anyone, but they were only informed to come and demolish the house. I immediately told them to tell whoever it is that I would like to speak with them, if they can call my number, which I shared with the excavators, so that I can speak with whomever gave them the order to demolish the property. I stood there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. waiting to get a call at least, and nobody called or came. The contractor even said he didn't know who sent him. 2 men later came and said they would like us to go to a police station. I asked if they even had a demolition order, but they had nothing. The whole situation screamed of coordinated lawlessness and impunity. Our country has become lawless. I just started reminiscing about how just over the weekend I had a meeting with someone who told me how he has investments in Ghana, Senegal, and Benin Republic, but won't touch Nigeria despite his market being here. I asked him why. His answer was piercing. Nigeria is a lawless country. Until we have laws that protect people, nobody will invest in Nigeria. I am just shocked. How did Nigeria get to this level of lawlessness? What kind of country are we trying to build? With the rights of citizens, their lives, their properties, and their voices are trampled upon daily. I remain committed to a better Nigeria, where lawlessness will be a thing of the past. Protection of life and property, respect for human rights, care for less privileged, and basic education for all Nigerians, and education for all children. Wow, this is really disheartening. Of course, he said the new Nigerian is possible. P.O. My colleague is in the house. This is unbecoming. What's your take?
Well, it has always been the prayers of most Nigerians, myself inclusive, and all my loved ones, that Nigeria should not happen to us. And because Nigeria happening to you, that's when you understand what it means surviving in a jungle. I saw the Twitter name of what's his name? Farotimi, and he wrote there, Dele Farotimi, and he now said, "Victim of Nigeria." It's something that must be looked into. I mean, for outsiders to know that this kind of thing should not be, or for outsiders to know that Nigerians can't take this kind of thing. Now, first of all, I think the governor should come in here, and someone should come in here and handle this issue. How can you serve a court verdict on someone without a name? Now, the big question is, how did they even know that particular address? I feel that, personally, my feeling is Peter Obi would have snapshot all those things, put it in his phone.
Was in the faces of the guys?
The faces of the people, and also the documents. Snap it and put it so that you can use that to, push whatever case you have against them. Because this is totally out of place, I must say. It's something I at least expected, especially for people who are aligning themselves with legal procedure. What is happening in our country? And how would this encourage investors to come in? Any investor who values his money, who did not steal his money, who worked and gradually built his capital to a particular level, would not dare try to invest in Nigeria. Why? You understand? Why? Because, come on, how can you just let go of your money for no reason? Somebody bought a land, has been there for 15 years, and you did not notify him of anything. One day you just woke up, demolished everything, and come on, everywhere is rested. What kind of life is this? And I think that all of these things should be kept in a record for Nigerians to see reasons why certain persons shouldn't be allowed into power any longer, because the longer they stay there, the more this country will continually depreciate. I tell you, the situation of things in the country right now, people are scared of bringing, instead you see them in getting involved in online investment. But say, or even if they want to invest, they invest in bonds and all of that. But to say physically invest in Nigeria, a lot of people don't do it again. And come on, it's not telling good of us. I feel that this issue should be handled in a very legitimate way, in a legal way, so that at the end of the day, the culprits behind it can be dealt with.
Rather